Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is going to be a very quick review for Hocus Pocus 2.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
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 Don't make me destroy you.
My camera is broke, so I'm doing it on my phone, as I've often done recently. But yeah, Hocus Pocus 2, a very, very belated sequel to the original Hocus Pocus, released in, was it 1993 or something? Some 29 years after. This is a bit of a messy film. I'm not a huge lover of the original Hocus Pocus, I have to admit. But this is messy in the fact that it's lost in its own, I want to say its own sort of hype, its own sort of enjoyment of itself, which it's fine. It's an honest, playful little film, but it's all nostalgia. There's nothing in this film. There's nothing new. In fact, I think it's much weaker than the original Hocus Pocus. The original Hocus Pocus had the joy of just these three witches simply wanting to murder naughty children. It's plain, it's simple. There are multiple stories in the original film. That keep you invested with the characters. In this, I don't really know what the plan was for the witches. They come back. They're brought back by a black candle yet again, that was crafted by this historian. And the Sanderson sisters come back. They're brought back by a coven of young witches. So they try and play this sort of, you don't have to be bad anymore. You can be good. But obviously, it just becomes messy and without any sort of real need for existing. I don't really know why it exists. I don't know what happens, to be quite honest. It's really bizarre. They're trying to match the same tone, the same levity of the original film, and it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It's played in a contemporary way that is a complete mismatch of, what they're trying to do. And it's bizarre. The film actually starts off quite strongly. There's a nice, lovely prologue, that shows the Sanderson sisters as young girls living in Salem, and that's quite interesting. In fact, that's the most interesting part of the film, because I was kind of thinking, I had not watched any trailer for this sequel. I was kind of thinking this is what they were going to do. Were they going to show sort of like a prequel sort of, life of the Sanderson sisters before they are, executed? But no, it's just a bit of a sort of like a false sort of flag, really, for the rest of the film. It's supposed to give them, the Sanderson sisters, someone to go after, and that doesn't really transpire throughout the rest of the film. It raises so many questions, about why the film exists, and I have no answers. I really have no answers. The only upside to this film, really, I think, is how game the central cast are. Bette Midler, Bette Midler is Bette Midler. She's well into it. Any chance to sing, and she's singing away. It becomes more of a Broadway musical than it does, a solid film. And I wonder if perhaps this might have served better as some kind of like, Broadway musical sequel rather than a movie sequel. They could have maybe melded the original film with this with this story and done a much better theatre piece. But yeah, it's strange. It's really strange. Yeah, the only thing positive I can think of really is that the central original cast, returning cast, are pretty game. I can never remember, the zombie in this. I can never remember what he was called, but when he comes back, it's pretty fun. It's lighthearted. But again, there's no sort of, I don't think there's any real tension. And I know it's a kids' film, but you're still going to have peril and tension in the kids' film. That's why kid films work so great. That's why kids invest in them. Kids want to go back and watch them again, because there is peril, there is, some scares, there is some, thoughtful mechanism within the film. That's why kids love The Lion King. That's why kids love, Sleeping Beauty. But we don't get that with Disney anymore. Everybody's got to be good. Everybody's got to be nice. And that's what happens in this film. The returning trio, they have their weird machinations where they're trying to do certain things, but in the end, nothing happens. They just become nice. They disappear, and then Bette Midler realizes, oh, what I've been doing is horribly wrong this entire time, and she disappears, and it flitters away into a warm, wintry fart, unfortunately. And I don't even think it looks that great. I think it's clearly filmed on a set, and you can tell that, especially in the woods. The woods is very clearly filmed on a set. It looks a bit cheap, it looks a bit naff, which is fine when this is a sequel to a film that was, critically derided, yet has somehow created a cult following. Fair enough. I mean, I understand the cult following, but a sequel, I don't think it's necessary. And I got nothing out of it. I got nothing out of it, sadly for me. So it's not a film for me. I'm not lambasting it. I'm not giving it, I'm not hammering it here like I would normally do, because I think there are probably charms there for kids, just not the charms that I think would fit for old fans. Those old fans that have been wanting to see a sequel for these near 30 years. And I'm thinking like films like like Blade Runner and things like that. They've had a sequel, a very belated sequel, and how they tried to give them something fresh, yet keep keep the tone and keep the flavour. Yeah, they do all that stuff in here, but there is nothing fresh. It doesn't feel unique. It doesn't feel clever. It doesn't feel well made. It's a shame, really. It's like it's been thrashed out, knowing that they would get views and get sells. But there you go. The dialogue in this is so well, heavy with exposition that I tuned out. So unfortunately, this is a tuned out score of 4 out of 10. Unfortunately for Hocus Pocus 2, and I'm going to leave it there. It's a weird film. It's a weird film that plays more like an advert for a kids' TV show, or a weird music video that just goes on for too long and is cursed to brainwash you into buying more Disney merchandise, I guess. Also, Jesus Christ, I've never seen the heaviest bit of excuse me, that's nearly killed me, product placement in my life. And the product placement isn't one product, it's a brand. My word. They go into a supermarket and Walgreens, this is why you're in the supermarket. We'll give you a supermarket set so you don't have to build one if you plaster Walgreens all over the place. That's the problem with this film. It doesn't have its own identity. It's laden with exposition, and it feels like it's been purchased by the highest bidder. A bit of a shame, I think. But I'm going to leave it there. 4 out of 10. Oh, Disney, you've got to do better with your IPs. But never mind, eh? Never mind. When's Hellraiser coming out, Disney? Or for the UK audience? Please? Anyone? All right then. Bye bye.